All right, if only for curious minds. Look what the mailman delivered today. My I should say our our green our green room setup. And I'm actually quite surprised because this thing only cost about $100. And look at this. I don't know what the width is. That's probably the better part of about 10 feet wide. Probably about 10 feet wide, and that thing probably stretches out the better part of 15 feet long. And just really cool. And the quality. I mean, the stands aren't anything special, but you get two lamps. You see, you get two lamps, and you get the green screen right there, which is it's a rather nice cloth. I can show that to you perhaps, but it's a rather nice cloth. So what'll happen is the cloth will just be replaced, and then the with whatever background you want. You see, and here's the lights. There are the lights right there. The lights basically serve the purpose of, you don't want shadow. When you're filming in front of the green screen, you don't want any shadow, because the computer wants a consistent shade of green, to be able to remove the green from the background, and then you can put whatever background you want in there. And I'm just trying to think, of all different fun ideas that I might do with, I keep saying but I gotta start thinking, we, and we is in Rosanna and myself. And I keep thinking of all the possibilities. Like, for example, remember when Rosanna was feeding me grapes? Well, I could put a nice vineyard background in the back, and Rosanna could feed me grapes in front of a nice, vineyard, Or the other thing is that I could get like a beach chair and have Copacabana Beach, and Rosanna could be putting, like SPF 50 on my back, while the while the waves of Copacabana Beach are crashing in the background. So it's a rather cool setup. It really is. It is a nice setup, I must say, and I'm rather pleased with it. So I just got to learn how to hook up the camera. Just got to learn to hook up the camera to the computer and do live broadcast. So it'll be fun. And as I was putting this thing together, I couldn't help but to think of over the years, I've always been the entrepreneur. That's always been my thing. I've always been the entrepreneur. And as I'm putting this thing up, I couldn't help but to think, how could I use this? How could I learn this? How could I take what I learned doing a green screen and make money at it? Yeah, that's the entrepreneur spirit, And then right away, I start thinking of the holiday parties coming up. All of the holiday parties, and in the community where I live. In the community where I live, every year they have these different holiday parties. They might have Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving and what have you. And they always have some little cheesy background. Everybody comes and they do the little couple shots and everything in front of a cheesy little background. But I don't. I think that with that setup, the possibilities are endless. Uh, Rosanna is having a Rosanna is having a she's going to be having a fall potty, as she says. She calls it a potty. So she's going to be having a fall potty. And I found myself thinking of how you could have some fun with the green screen or something like that, at her fall potty. But anyway, oh goodness gracious! And the kitchen is done. You know, the kitchen is done, and it's nice. I was thinking earlier. Rosanna was telling me that it was hard work. You know, it was hard work. All that scrubbing. It was just hard work, and I should hire somebody to do it, and what have you. And you know what? That may very well be true. That may very well be true. But the fact of the matter is that when you do something yourself, when you complete something that you've done yourself, it gives you a certain amount of pride, satisfaction, something like that. When you do it yourself, you know. So it's there's something to be said about doing things yourself. It's just finding a balance between knowing what you can do yourself and what you can't do yourself. And clean a tile floor and the grout and everything like that. That's something that I can certainly do myself. I was in the military for just shy of 3 years. I was in the military, so if there's one skill that I know, it's how to clean a floor. I know how to clean a floor. But anyway, all in all, the actually came out rather kitchen came out rather nice. Hi Tom, the best grout cleaner is toothpaste. I don't know about that, Oz. I used what I basically did was I got myself, kind of interestingly enough, I got myself a big thing of baking soda. Okay, I got a big thing of baking soda, and I got myself a little funnel. You see. So what I did was I filled the funnel with some baking soda, and I just kept my finger on the bottom of this funnel, okay? And I just followed the funnel along the grout lines, and I laid out a nice bead, kind of like you would caulk something, I just kind of laid out a nice bead of the baking soda along the grout lines. And then once I had the nice bead along the grout lines, I had a spray bottle, and I filled the spray bottle with some hydrogen peroxide, and then I just scrubbed it. I didn't have to scrub it all that hard, but I just scrubbed it. And now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal it. And now with the kitchen nice and clean, I cleaned the stove top. There's my little Ninja Foodie, the pressure cooker, you see. But clean the stove top. I've got nice little accents. Hey, Tall, you'll probably appreciate this. I've got the nice little Anjo Rosa, accents throughout the kitchen. I've got that little thing, and then of course the flowered tablecloth that I brought back from Budapest, from Magyarország. And I just love this thing. It really is. It's I believe it's hand sewn, but it's just very, very, very beautiful. This is one of the things that I treated myself to, and brought this back from Hungary. But anyway, so now I've got a nice clean kitchen. There's the paprika. You see there's my paprika, right there from Magyarország. But the kitchen's nice and clean. Kitchen is nice and clean, just all ready for the morning thoughts. So anyway, everybody out there again, this was just for curious minds only. So have a great day, and take good care. Tonight's karaoke night. Down at the pool, and I might go do some karaoke. But and the bike came. The bike got delivered today in one piece, and the bike coming back from you see, there's the bike right there. It would have cost me over $300 to send that UPS, but being the frugal guy that I am, I use the USPS. You got to keep them in business, and cost me about $100 to ship that bike back. Haven't opened the box yet, but I don't have any reason to think that that there's anything wrong with the bike. So anyway, I'll be back in the saddle today, or tomorrow rather. I'm gonna put the bike together now, and then go out on a I'll probably do a 25 mile ride tomorrow morning. I got a belly to get rid of, okay, or so Rosanna keeps telling me. But anyway, have a great day, everyone. Take good care. Who's that? Eric, nice job on the floor. Thanks, Eric. Eric, I think it was you that was asking me about where I would live. Was that you that was asking me? About the villages and the humidity and all that type of stuff. I got to tell you, I think that was yeah, that was you that was asking. So I'll share some thoughts on that. I have traveled the United States, with the exception of Alaska. I've traveled the U.S. top to bottom, east to west, and I often think about that. I often think about where would I live, and one of the biggest things for me when it comes to considering where I want to live is the weather. First and foremost, it's got to be the weather, and then after I think about the weather, I think about, I like weather where I can go out almost year round. I like weather that permits me to one extent or the other to be able to get outside year round. And when I lived in California, Northern California, with the exception of prolonged periods of rain, uh, for the most part, the weather was somewhat temperate. But California has these incredibly high income taxes. Really, really high income taxes, and it's a very left, for the most part, a good portion of the state is very left leaning. But if I had to choose a place, based upon weather and the ability to go out and do things, if money were no object, I probably would live somewhere in California, somewhere, where it's just a short drive from the ocean or something like that. I'd probably live somewhere in California if money were no object. But on the flip side, what really blew me away, what really blew me away was this year when I went to Gardnerville and Minden. It's got a really nice small town feel to it. It's got a really, really nice small town feel to it, but it's in close proximity. I think it was Carson City. I think Carson City is the capital of Nevada. And Gardnerville and Minden was only about I think 20 minutes or something, or 20, maybe 30 minutes from Carson City. And you had the Costco's, you had all the other box stores and what have you, shopping mall, whatever. But Gardnerville and Minden just had a really nice small appeal to it. It just had a really good sense of community. And the weather was just, the weather, it's just on the other side of the Sierras, so it's probably comparable to the western side of the Sierras, California. But anyway, I don't know if that answers your question. And if the winters got too cold, if the winters got a little bit wet and too cold, uh, Minden and Gardnerville, they're one and the same basically. They're just a short drive down, down to Tucson or something like that in the wintertime. So that would probably be my choice, and I also say that because it's rather close to Tahoe. You could go right across over to Tahoe, but anyway, that's about it, folks. So I need to get on with my day, and let you all do the same. You know, it's nice having a nice. It's nice having a nice clean kitchen. Like I was telling Rosanna, you know, I want to be comfortable in my home. You know, if I'm going to have a home, if I'm going to be here for a prolonged period of time, I want to have a nice home. You know, that's coming from a guy that used to live out of his car. You know, I used to live I used to live out of my car, and every night it was an adventure trying to find a spot to park that I didn't park the night before, and the cops wouldn't come and knock on the window and say, "You can't sleep here, buddy," you know. But I like to have a nice home, and so this week I tackled this room, and maybe next week I'll tackle the dining room, and then the I still got to make figure out where I'm going to put the green screen. But anyway, enough of all that. So have a great day, everybody. Take good care, okay?